Okay, we will start. And get so many things. Okay, we have another packed 3-hour session today. And thank you for coming on this Saturday morning. And I like mornings rather than afternoons. Hi. Okay, for today, the field and forum. The field today, I've invited the Hong Kong Red Cross to come to talk about how they use strategic planning as a tool to promote performance in the organization. Ms. Bonnie So will be coming around a little bit before 10. So within this half an hour, I'm going to talk about how to prepare the organization for performance management. And then we have a compact 45 minutes to talk about an overview of the tools before going to a critique of performance measurement. So this is what we're going to do today. And Thursday, remember what still remember what we talked about? Performance as a concept. Remember the battery, the car, and St. Peter's? And performance, the whole movement, how it started with the public sector reform and going to the business side, leading on the bottom line measurement, quality control, management efficiency, to the idea of benchmarking, social indicators, the talk about blended value, impact investing, impact evaluation, and 4 goals, management goals that performance measurement can. Remember the 4 figures: control, management, understanding, remember? And then we started to talk about what is performance management, the typical issues of performance management. What are the issues of efficiency, effectiveness? And then we have the balance scorecard by Aberdeen Kai Fong Association. So, refresh your mind. So today we try to put performance measurement into the context of whole NGO management. This is, performance management is not the whole thing. It's part of the whole NPO management. This is quite a good illustration by one of the readings I've given you as a recommended reading, how they put into context strategic planning. Remember the question, doing the right thing and doing the thing right. More strategy and strategic planning are finding the right thing to do. Clear objectives, strategies design, program design, aligning your operation system, your HR, your IT, your finance, resources allocation, and then to performance measurement to see how the objectives, the strategy, the resources, and operation alignment are delivering the results that you want to do. I've read through the class exercise I gave you in the first session, and many of you are engaged in data collection, analysis. That's part of it, part of this. Remember, this whole thing is linked to all these. And it's also the use of performance measurement to see, to improve. That's a word that came out from the group discussion, toward just redeployment of money, manpower, to what you think is achieving or not achieving enough. Then it goes back. So this is the context of performance measurement in the whole management cycle. And another thing to remember, also 4 little figures. If you don't remember the words, remember the cartoons. 4 key questions to answer when developing a performance management framework. We heard about Aberdeen Gaifeng Association's very elaborate performance assessment system. But before doing anything, you have to have something in place before you work out a performance management system. What are these? Guess the first one? It's written there. You like this? Incentives. Yeah, I will go through this. The first thing I said, you have to know what the organization is trying to do in order to assess how it has performed. So, preparing and clarifying the organization's mission, goals, how to translate the vision into strategies, how to identify the critical success factors before you design a performance management system. These are important. You need to have things in place before you measure it. You need to know the resources allocation and deployment of people, like how many people it's put into mission 1, mission 2, mission 3. And the performance measurement is to assess their output and outcome. So this is the first thing that you have to do when you do performance or try to put in a performance assessment framework within your organization. I'm talking about the organization level, not just the program level. Even as a program level, you have to have the program objective and the program logic sort out before you do the performance. Hi, you are Edward. I have something for you.
Oh, really?
Yes. The second thing, it's you need to think of the measurements of success, the performance measures and targets. You heard about AKAAA. They do the strategic objectives, the strategy mapping, but to the end, they have to nail down into what to measure and what is the benchmark. 80% of client satisfaction, if client satisfaction is one of the measure. If you're a logistic company, delay time in delivery, 20 minutes, 1 day. So these are the things you have to think ahead. And the normal generic dimensions of performance, there are 6, as Fitzgerald and Moon has mentioned, the financial ones. Competitive, the quality ones, the resources utilization, flexibility, and innovation. To make it simpler, you can have performance measurements, measures split into the process, those measuring process, and those measuring content. The process is like measures like how many clients you've engaged. How do they participate? Did they just sit there or did they hand in their class assessment sheet? Engage, motivate, build ownership and commitment. Did you raise feedbacks? Did you say, oh, I have something I want to share? The process of engagement. And then the content of the performance. I mean, it is, you can benchmark with external measures, like the market leader, like the number of biddings the organization can achieve within 1 year, link to budget, and set challenging targets. So this is with the goals, strategies. Then you have to think of what you want to measure and how do you benchmark these measurements. We'll talk about it when we go into the details, but this is a framework of what you need to be in place, the 4 figures, when you work out performance management system. Use this framework to think about AKA that you listened to on Thursday, and use this framework. And when you listen to the Red Cross coming in to talk about their use of strategic planning as a performance management tool. Rewards and penalties, the firing William mentioned, because the performance measurements, the results needs to be used for improvements. So measurement is not just to have a report and put it on the table. Performance needs to be feedback to the funders, which will adjust your resources in a way. Performance results needs to be feedback to the employees, your staff, to tell them what are we doing right, are we going the right direction. It's not just giving bonuses, but celebrating achievements. Yes, we've done this. This is what we want. For an advocacy group, well, we've organized this action, and it was reported in front page. But do we use that as a measurement? Or we use policy change? What's the impact of having frontline reporting and not changing a policy? So this is for the colleagues to generate enthusiasm, not just to penalize. And it's important to clarify the expectations of behavior of what is success. Some agencies include this in their individual staff performance appraisal, like an agency who emphasizes innovation. They put it as one of the performance appraisal. One agency who emphasizes knowledge management. They encourage staff to write down, reflect on the successful projects, and put it on a knowledge management website to share with other colleagues. So they put this in the performance appraisal. And 3 important factors of a reward mechanism. It's not just about money. It has to be clear, because you have to be seen to be fair when you give award or acknowledgement. It has to be enough to motivate and controllable in a sense. Everybody gets there, or it doesn't fulfill differentiation and encouragement. It's important to develop a performance culture. Everybody's putting in their little efforts to create a big change. Every step counts to make a great leap. So this is why thinking of incentives are important in the it's the final one. It's how do you communicate the performance results, the information flow. It's not just result, but the start of it, what you want to measure. What is the purpose of the measurement? So the information flow, you have to think ahead. you think of the elaborate performance measurement system of AKA. They have to do a lot of communication. They have to ensure the staff understands what they're doing and understand the content of it and the result of it. So, what are the key things you need to communicate? What are the critical success factors and what are the stakeholders' expectations? That is at the start of the AKA Balanced Scorecard at number 1 of his 11 steps. How is the performance measured or monitored? How are the results reported? How frequent are the monitoring? Like this class, I do the monitoring every session. I have you fill in the class exercise sheet every time and not wait till the end. Identify the information flows and how information can be used. How does the 80% client satisfaction mean? Being feedback to the unit, and how would they use this information to improve further or to investigate the 20% why they're not satisfied, or celebrate the 80%. So the feedback is important. The feedback process helps the adaptation and the learning you generate from the performance measurement. So these are the 4 figures for today. And let it sink in. And our guest speaker is not yet here, but I'd like to I'll go into this one first, because the 4 things that have to be thought through or planned out before you start, but really to kickstart a system, what should be there? This is also in one of the required readings. The technical capacity, I mean, basically the knowledge and the skill and the time. Can your organization afford the time at this particular moment to kick in a system? Or you're too busy stopping the fire burning and you have a crisis coming, don't start it. The knowledge of balanced scorecard, if you're going to adopt it. The skills, you train the staff to do it first. So this is the technical capacity of preparing in your organization to put in place a performance management system. Politics and organizational culture, this is the soft part of it. This is the receptiveness of your colleagues or your board to adopt a performance measurement. It's like looking into a mirror. I mean, you see things you like to see, and you see things that you sometimes don't like to see. So are they ready for it? Wrong class. And the adoption path, I mean, you have to think, how do you motivate, include, educate, use? It's a process that you have to have in mind. It's a path to go through. AKA has used balanced scorecard for over 10 years, almost 20 years now. They have been adjusting it. So you talk about the adoption path, you listen to the Red Cross. Actually, I have been the Secretary General of the Red Cross. I worked in Red Cross for 13 years. Started as their youth and welfare principal officer or the unit in charge, then became Secretary General. When I was there, I didn't have the strategic planning because I was too busy, starting up international service, starting up everything. So the adoption path, you ask and listen. But the most important thing is it's not a one-time thing for performance measurement. It's a continuous process, part of the management structure or framework. It's a continuous improvement process. So the recurrent focus of you ask the two key questions, which I asked you to fill in the first class. It's for what and for whom. The efforts that you put into the performance review exercise is not small. And you have to convince your colleagues, your board, and yourself, what's it for? And for whom? And throughout the implementation, you try to improve the performance measurement with reframing what information needs to be communicated to the people I want to know about my performance. The funders, the mandate people who gave me to do it, my users, my beneficiaries, and what is the best way to do so. This is, I'm trying to talk about frameworks and issues. The detail, the elaboration of these are in some of the readings and in the field practice, which I will bring into you, and we try to tear it apart and analyze it. Going back to AKA, the technical competency or capacity, it's brought from outside. It's brought from another agency called Yan Ngoi Tong. They have a CEO who has retired now. He started to experiment balanced scorecard in his organization. So the book, if you want to borrow it, I will give a copy to Kin. And it's all with the two organizations' experiences. And this is how they bring in the technical know-how from outside. And I will talk about the adoption process as a framework in the overview later on. And he didn't talk about politics, but you can ask Bonnie, who's the Secretary General of Hong Kong Red Cross. Like to come down now. Morning, Kin. Can you help me? I have to introduce. Use yours or.
Yeah, because I have.
You see, all these are Red Cross.
It's not this, but I have some.
Some. 我俾佢嘛。兩個都要。呢個唔係，呢個我哋錄住
嘅。
係啦。
但我要咁樣樣。
唔係都唔使，就咁夾出邊得㗎。
記者嗰啲真係咁夾出邊。
Very experienced in doing interviews. 就咁
翹得唔好。
就咁夾住喺度啫。While Bonnie, Miss So is fixing the logistics, I have to introduce Bonnie, which I call her. She has been with the Red Cross for 25 years. Doesn't look like it, yeah? We
Look me in a closer distance.
You heard the news just a few days about the infamous Guok Mei Mei, the Chinese Red Cross. So we have more beautiful lady here in Hong Kong. She has been doing international work, international relief, started the whole Department of International Relief in the Hong Kong Red Cross, and administration and the Secretary General now. So she's familiar with the organization inside out. I've told them when I was in the Red Cross, I didn't have strategic planning. She has put it in. So I give the stage to
Okay, thank you, Christine. Christine is my mentor. So I start working in Hong Kong Red Cross as a small potato, and then Christine's always my role model. I remember I did my master's degree on social work. It's a part-time. Christine at that time was the Secretary General of the Hong Kong Red Cross, and then Christine is my coach. And then she gave me A. And then the supervisor professor then she queried her, and then she said, Bonnie is good. So a lot of encouragement from Christine.
So I give high marks. You do well.
Okay, forget Guo Mei Mei. Forget Guo Mei Mei. Did you read news yesterday and today? So what about Hong Kong Red Cross? Yeah, we're moving. So Hong Kong Red Cross is experiencing our historical moments. So yesterday, all Red Cross people busy in packing in the headquarters in the old building. So the old building is over 50 years. Hong Kong Red Cross established in 1950, so it's 65 years. But in the first 10 years, we don't have our headquarters. So until in 1965, we have this 3-story building. In those days, this is the tallest building in the district. But now, we are the smaller one. So we have to move to another new building, have 11 floors. So, and then in the past 1 week, everybody in the Red Cross got crazy. A lot of graffitis here. So what touched me very much, a lot of the graffiti talking about serious crisis. So have you heard about the serious crisis? So the crisis has been lasting for 5 years, but it didn't caught much attention from the Hong Kong public. So that's why Hong Kong Red Cross did something. We got some meter pitch, and then we sent doctors, nurses, their volunteers to Jordan, and then we have some touching story they brought back to Hong Kong. So that's why 2 days ago we have lots of media coverage on the Red Cross volunteer working in Syria crisis. But today I'm not going to talk about disaster relief, although this is my favorite topic. If Christy asked me to talk about disaster relief, I will request for 3 hours. It's my favorite topic. So graffiti again. So Christine asked me to briefly talk about a little bit about Hong Kong Red Cross, maybe 2-3 minutes, because not many of you understand what exactly Hong Kong Red Cross is. Can I ask a very simple question? If I talk about Hong Kong Red Cross, what will you think about immediately in your mind?
Blood donation.
Blood donation. What else? Disaster relief?
Volunteers.
Well, volunteers. Okay, it's good. Because always people talk about blood and also disaster and nothing. Okay, so actually Hong Kong Red Cross established in 1950. In those days, we were a branch of the British Red Cross. So in 1997, the handover, so Hong Kong was handed over to the China government. So that's why Hong Kong Red Cross follow handover from British Red Cross to Chinese Red Cross as a special branch. So what does it mean, special branch? That means we can keep 50 years autonomous status. Let's say, so we do insist the baseline, and then we do insist to keep our finance, constitution, human resources, everything autonomy. I mean, we have to make plan and control by ourselves. So that means from 1997 to 2047, so Hong Kong Red Cross work independently in Hong Kong. Just make an example that we raised 1.3 billion Hong Kong dollars in 2008 in earthquake in Manchun, Sichuan province in China. So the 1.3 billion donation is from Hong Kong people. So that's why we keep the say to make plans, to do the monitoring, and then to do the audit. So this is what I mentioned, that is we can keep autonomous. So we can, okay, all these 3 red lines, you can taste a little bit about Hong Kong Red Cross mission, what we are doing. We do everything to protect human life. we do everything to care for the health of the vulnerable, and also when we protect human life and then we do some caring projects, we have to respect human dignity. So this is what mission guide every Red Cross people in Hong Kong to do our humanitarian work. So the most important is we mobilize people. So we call humanitarian platform. So every one of you are welcome to join Red Cross to help in donation, service, or whatever. Blood. I want to show this photo again. Do you have a question? Why the Red Cross logo on the wall is white? It's not red. Did you read about the news?
Yes.
Yeah.
Restaurant near your the new building, they complain about.
Yeah. It's a difficult decision for us. A household, the kitchen, just open the window of the kitchen, just face in front of our big Red Cross. And then she campaigned through the district council and also to the newspaper. And then we make a very quick decision within one day. We make it into white and then put a small logo down in this level with signage. And we have a lot of discussion. Some Red Cross people like it, but some didn't, because we want to show Red Cross big, and then this is our identity. But we discussed with one point, we want Red Cross to be a humanitarian platform. We welcome people, we receive people to join us to do good work, to serve the needy. So if we insist on something like this, and how come people think that Red Cross is willing to open their door to join the humanitarian platform to serve the others? I think this is not very important, whether it's a big or small logo. But people to come to join us is the most important thing that we treasure. So just one thing, want to show you that we welcome all of you to join us. Okay, this is the very long name, but usually we will not use the Red Cross of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. It's too long, so that's why usually we call Hong Kong Red Cross. But because all over the world, it has 189 countries, they have Red Cross or Red Crescent. So when we go overseas, so we have to have the brackets, branch of the Red Cross Society of China. But usually in Hong Kong, make it simple and clear, so we just say Hong Kong Red Cross. So we have our own constitution, we take care of our internal affairs in HR, finance, everything, and we can maintain independent relationship, working relationship with other Red Cross Society. Okay, so it's very complicated, but don't care about the works. Just want to let you have a sense of the structure. And it's very related to what I am going to talk about, the program management and monitoring evaluation. So an organization, in the front line, we have service teams. So the black work is service team. So Hong Kong Red Cross, is this a laser pointer?
Anybody has a laser pointer?
No. Okay, that's okay, I can use the mouse, okay. Okay, the bottom boxes are all services. Hong Kong Red Cross, we have about 20-something services. The services forms department. So some service team form one department, the blue boxes. The 6 departments form the whole agency. Okay, this is the layers. So when I share with you some example, that usually we have planning and evaluation cycle for each services. And then all these services form a department, and a department should have the departmental strategic direction, and then should have her department's planning, annual plan, and also M&E we call monitoring and evaluation system. And then the whole agency, although it is difficult, but we should have a whole agency we call corporate strategic direction. The corporate strategic direction to direct each department what should they do to set their focus. So this is the logic of each department. So usually should be from top down. Firstly, have a corporate direction, and then corporate direction to direct the department to set the departmental direction. And the departmental direction will set the direction for the service team, what they should do in the front line. Okay? So this is some photos. Blood, the most famous one. Community care service, this is the patient concern. We visit patient in the hospital. And then health and care service, this is a first aid training for the elderly. International relief service, Now Christine is the vice chairman of this department's committees. This is in Sichuan, 2008. Special school, we have a special school for the physically and mentally handicapped children. So one special school service maybe you don't know, we have hospital school. We have about 20 hospitals in Hong Kong. When children patients stay in the hospital for more than 3 days, we will provide teaching, follow the curriculum. We have teachers from P1 to Form 6. P1 to Form 6, yeah. So this is volunteers. We have about 1,200 volunteers in the school. But totally, we have 22,000 volunteers from 8 to 90. Okay, now going to the core part of my presentation. This is Christine want me to share with you more about the program management. And then maybe in the later part, I will highlight more on the monitoring and evaluation, how to measure the achievement of your set targets. So I want to introduce a concept, results-based management. So result-based management versus activity-based management. So in those days, in the many years, people or organizations usually use activities-based management. It's easy because you just list down a list of activities and then you complete all the activities, it's done. But recently, especially for the humanitarian organization, they very focused on result-based. That means no matter how many activities or what kinds of activities you're going to deliver, you should have some predicted results. So you will not do something that we don't know what result that is leading to. So that's why it's, we change from activity-based to results-based. So it's very, very important. So that's why in the beginning, if you set activities or a list of activities, the most important thing is you have to set what? Predicted results. So you know that you are doing it for what? So this is very difficult, and sometimes we forget, because doing activities is very easy and then fantastic. When overnight preparation, and then today we have 2 programs. After this section, I'll go to bone marrow ceremony in Tsim Sha Tsui, and also today is a World First Aid Day, the second Saturday in September. So a lot of activities happening every day. So if we overrun by the activities and then we don't know what the meaning of doing that, so it's a failure. So in the beginning, please plan ahead what result you want to get before planning a lot of activities. So later on, I will share with you some methodology or tools that we always use. But you can find a lot of different tools in the website, or Christine can give you a lot of reference, because there are lots of tools to help you to set measurable indicators and also doing M&E, monitoring and evaluation. So this is very simple concept. I'm sure everybody knows that it's a complete planning cycle for one project, right? Nobody haven't heard about this, right? So first of all, we do have some assessments. And then after assessment, we know that we have some environmental scan, and then we plan what we want to do with some set targets or objectives. And then we start doing implementation and monitoring. At the end, we have to do evaluation. And if you have some repeatedly activities, so after the evaluation, you have some lesson learned. So usually, evaluation is an old-fashioned word. Now we use AAR, after action review. After action review, the tactic is to encourage people to focus on finding the good performance during the process. So what we have been doing good, and then after the positive exchange on what we have been doing good in this event, and then we'll find out what we can do better. So usually they don't use finger-pointing attitude. Okay, so how come that you do this in a messy way, and then it should not happen again? So AAR is a new word and a new attitude to help us to face our experience in a positive way. So I will use this cycle to elaborate some example, because Christine told me to talk about my experience. I'm a person that's good at doing and then to share experience. I'm not a scholar to give you a lot of theories and then quote from this book and that book. Don't expect it from me. Okay, so that's why the experience I'm going to share is not perfect. But this is something that we have been doing now, and then we'll do in the improvement, and then a lot of improvement, and then in a better way that we will try to do better and better. So the planning cycle can be applied in project level, only one-off activities, and also can be applied in service level. So a lot of projects form a service, and then also can apply on agency level. A lot of services or department form an agency. So this is a tool very useful that if you know the logic and how to do it, so I think can help you a lot. So I put an example for project level. So this is one thing that I'm really familiar with. When I joined the Red Cross in 1990, so I start running around disaster relief, disaster affected areas to do disaster relief. So when every time a disaster happens, so we have plan ahead what we have to do in the coming 3 to 6 months. So first of all, we need to do need assessment. So remember, the first step is need assessment. So in the context of the disaster relief is one-off activities. The need assessment is the affected population. So for example, the damage, the numbers, statistics of the damages. So going to the field, let's say I was in Bangladesh in 2007 as the team leader to assess the need after cyclone there. So I have to meet the local government to get secondary figures, the damage figures. I have to meet the WHO, UN, some other partners. They're doing relief work in the same country. I have to meet the local Red Crescent, Bangladesh Red Crescent. They are our counterpart. I have to go along with the local people to visit affected people along the street or up in the mountain. So that's why you do the assessment. You have to identify which are your stakeholders and then what questions you have to ask. I will show you later a table that to let you easy to understand what to do need assessment by doing stakeholders engagement. So need assessment, after doing the need assessment, we know that the damage situation, how desperate the local people, they need external help. And also we know the capacity that they have in the local, because maybe they have a very good Red Cross doing work there, so that means they have comparatively stronger capacity. Maybe the government is very strong, or maybe there are lots of INGO, international NGO doing work there. So the capacity is low or high, so will affect us to plan ahead our relief plan. So planning, okay, after doing the assessment, we'll plan ahead which group of beneficiaries we are going to help. So which location and then the characteristic of the affected people. So usually in China, we call that 五保护. 五保护. Those disaster affected people, they are also poor, also they have elderly, and also what? Sick. No child, single elderly. So every society, they have something that you have to follow. So that's why we have to identify the beneficiary groups and then to arrange distribution. What kind of materials? Should be food or clothing or something that suit their local taste. For example, in China, in South part, we will distribute rice, but in North part, we will not distribute rice. We'll distribute flour, because they usually make buns, and then this is their day-to-day food. So this is the planning. So after planning, we have to do the implementation. So we have a lot of procedure to do the implementation. I know some people, they query whether the donation donated to Hong Kong organization will be really benefit the local people, especially in China. So that's why we have a lot of implementation procedure. Let's say to sign the receipts. We call all the villagers come together, and then we have a launching ceremony, very simple one, and then they will come out, call by name, and then to sign it. Usually they cannot write, and then they will put the fingerprint on the form. And after 2-3 months, we will do some random sampling. We will go to the village to randomly pick some household to check whether the rice or the quilts or the blanket are still in the household. So this is what the implementation plan, you have to have some procedures and policy to make sure that it is done, and that it is done smoothly and successfully. And after that, we'll do evaluation or AAR, the whole process to review what we have been doing good, whether the assessment is accurate, and then our planning is it perfect, and the implementation on the distribution is smooth, and then do the evaluation to form the lesson learned by this operation. And next time maybe we can have some improvement. So for some, take some example, we made improvement on the distribution of relief materials. Some household, they query why this household will come out to take the relief material. They suspect that it's not an affected household. So that's why after that, we have one thing that we add on to post up a 张榜公布. We put up a red paper and put all the households' name on it. And in each household, they are eligible to receive how many kg of rice and how many blankets and how many sets of cooking utensils. So we put it 1 week before the distribution. And then everybody can look on the table. If they query, this household is not real affected household, they can go to the head of the village and then to report it, something like that. So that's why we make it transparent. So the transparency is, this is a public monitoring. It's not only monitored by the Red Cross, but the public help us to monitor whether they are eligible affected people. So that you have to think about everything, every small step you can improve for your operation. So this is the power of AAR. Okay. Okay, that is a activity level is one-off thing. So this is a service level. So the Hong Kong Red Cross International and Relief Department, they have set a 3-year strategic direction. They aim to be an international, a professional, a leading international organization on emergency operation, a leading humanitarian organization on emergency operation. So and one of the roles they want to be is the professional responder. So if we have to measure whether Hong Kong Red Cross after 3 years, we are really become a professional responder, what should we do? Okay, going back again, the 4-step cycle. So first of all, they have to assess, to do assessment, to do SWOT analysis. So for example, any other competitor that may be also become a leading organization in emergency operation. So do environmental scan, the stakeholders, and also to assess our own capacity, whether we have enough expertise in those functions that we have to perform in emergency. Let's say whether we're good at logistics or medical relief or shelter programs or water and sanitation. So how many functions that we are serving in times of emergency that we can serve. So this kind of assessment to know that your competitive edge or some areas that you are lack of competency you have to build on. So this is the assessment. So after that we have to do planning. So we have to identify expected outcome in the strategy. So the strategy how to make us as a professional responder. So let's say to planning, let's say what kind of activities we have to do, training, recruit delegates, or sometimes we will not do it by ourselves. We partner with other national society. For example, Oxfam is doing good at water and sanitation. So why not maybe we work together, they do water and sanitation, we do the housing construction. So we have to identify what we want to do within a certain period of the time, and then we have to do the action. And after that, we have to we evaluate whether the objective we set have been achieved after 2 and 3 years later. But usually we will have ongoing evaluation. We will not just do it after 2 and 3 years later. So we have to do it, let's say, periodically, let's say half year and 1 year. Okay. So next page, I will give you some worksheet. forget the words. But this is, I will introduce some tools to you. That is the stakeholders analysis. I remember at that time in 2007, I went to Bangladesh, and then on the plane, I started reading the International Red Cross guideline, the books, how to do stakeholders engagement. And I have to identify some major groups. So what kind of institutions I have to meet? Let's say INGO, governments, or whatever. So a group of institutions, I have to meet with them. They are stakeholders. And what kind of target groups? Individual people. Is it women, or I have to go to the orphanage, or I have to go to some school, okay, so, and others. So when you set some key stakeholders group, and then you break it down, so for example, community leaders, and what question you want to ask them, women's group, school children, the local Red Cross volunteers, and local authorities. So you have to plan ahead, and it's not a ad hoc or instinct. Interview, okay, just bump into a person and ask them some questions. It's not doing some entertainment newspaper coverage and ask them the questions. And then you have to set a framework to ensure that every time you interview a person or to meet with an organization, you have to complete all your question lists. After that, you have a comprehensive information that is stakeholders engagement. So you can use it as a background information. And sometimes we have to divide into different groups. For example, in Bangladesh, I divide into 3 groups. One group, there's a local doctor went together with me. I assigned her to go to the Ministry of Health. And I go to the INGO collaboration meeting. So, and then the local Red Cross person, they will go to somewhere else and to make it more efficient. Yeah. So this is SWOT. No need to say too much. Everybody know about that. SWOT is very common tool, but sometimes we will overlook it. It's too theoretical, and then maybe you don't want to use it. But if you really use it, and it helps. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. So every department, when they set their departmental strategic direction, or even the Hong Kong Red Cross, will use it. So for example, Hong Kong Red Cross, the threats now, 國美美, and it may be the threat, it didn't exist before Guameme incident happened. So that's why we have to have some ongoing SWOT analysis to see our current situation. And also now we have opportunities. We have the new buildings. So we have a lot of facilities that can bridge the communication with the local community. So we always remind ourselves the building is not only a building, it's a platform that's full of mission and people. So we can welcome more people to come to join us. So that's why we have a lot of opportunities happening because of the new building. So we really have to have ongoing SWOT analysis in our mind. Okay, I show you the annual plan. So annual plan is an annual exercise for each department. Okay, so no matter how many operations you have to do in the front line, how many relief distribution you have done, but you have to set an annual plan for the whole year, what you want to achieve. So as I mentioned, that this is a part of the annual plan on the International Relief Department. Do you remember the 3-year strategic direction of that department? To become a leading humanitarian organization on emergency operation. So that's why they have to, under this strategic direction, okay, this is a finish line of the race. This is direction. After 3 years, we have to go to that destination. Okay, it's a finish line. And then we set core action area. We have several, but I just put one. Okay, one core action area can help us to become a leading humanitarian organization on emergency operation, is to become a responder on emergency operation in China and globally. And under the core action area, we have different key activities tasks. For example, the first activity task is we have to actively engage in global disaster management work, including building a positive image of Hong Kong Red Cross through personnel deployment, and also contributes of expertise. That's why we are not only receive donation from Hong Kong people and then to transfer the donation to the disaster affected country. So we are not satisfied on it because every NGO in Hong Kong, they can do it. MSF, Oxfam, Salvation Army, they can do it. But we have to do a step more forward, is to deploy person. So in Nepal, do you remember Nepal earthquake? Christine, of course, remember. Your daughter was in danger. Okay, so at that time, right on the earthquake, we sent 16 people from Hong Kong to Nepal. Many of them, they are volunteers, medical and health personnel. So we want to demonstrate Hong Kong Red Cross have the capacity in sending professional people to help in the disaster area. So this is the first key activities to respond the first core action area. So after that, still we are not full stop here. We have to go forward to make it more measurable indicators. So key performance indicator, we will second one staff to the International Federation of Red Cross, AP, that means Asia Pacific Zone, as a operation coordinator, and also send another staff to the same office as emergency health coordinator. Why we choose this zone and we choose this position? Because the zone Hong Kong Red Cross belong to Asia Pacific. It's about 36 national society in Asia Pacific. So this is a disaster-prone area all over the world. Asia always occupy about 70 to 80% of disaster all over the world every year. So this two position is strategic position. So we'll steer the operation in emergency and also steer the emergency health operation. So that's why we want to choose this strategic position to have Hong Kong people to occupy the position. And also the third performance that we want to do is second volunteer or staff to IFRC and ICRC. ICRC is a headquarters of the Red Cross doing war zone relief operation. Let's say in Syria, or let's say in some internal conflict. Some years ago, let's say in Ethiopia, in Afghanistan. So IFRC is doing natural disaster relief, let's say earthquake, cyclone, typhoon. So we want to send people from Hong Kong to help natural disaster relief and also conflict areas relief operation. So the last one is we want to participate in the Red Cross global discussion, maybe in a member of some committee to discuss about the global agenda of the disaster management. So this is one very measurable indicators, what we have to do in the coming 1 or 2 years. And then, so the rest is very operational, who to do it and a funding source, forget it. So this is very measurable indicators with strategic direction, core action, and activities with performance indicators. Very tedious. But once you got this plan, the whole department staff, they have very clear direction, who to do what. It's very useful. So this is a planning and implementation tool. Maybe some of you, you have used it. So usually we have planned schedule and execution action. Usually the execution action is a little bit delayed, okay? So ensure that the annual plan you have activity 1.1.1 and 1.1.2, a lot of activity put on your annual plan and then put it on the timetable and then ensure that it is completed within your planned time. So this is another table I want to show to you is the output indicators table. To be honest, output indicators is easy to measure. Now, Hong Kong Red Cross is still working hard to work out outcome indicators. Okay, output indicators is every department, they have a set of output indicators that will not change every year because we want to compare by year. So this is one example. For example, for Chinese disaster relief and development, because China is full of disaster. So every year, more or less, we have relief operation in China. So we set the number, the total amount of fund allocation for China disaster relief and development, how much that we spend in this year, and then the number of beneficiaries, how many people we help this year for the emergency phase, and how many rehabilitation or reconstruction project we have done, and then how many beneficiary. Okay, this is the number of projects The second last line is the number of beneficiaries, and then how many ongoing disaster risk reduction programs. So every year you have these figures. So you can see the box that I put on the right side will have the figures in the previous years, and then to compare this year and the previous year. So this is the output indicator to make you have a sense that how about our operation in China or whatever area that is going up or down or very steady. So this is the output indicator. But now we are in developing outcome indicator. So all these activities done, but is it really can help the local people to rebuild their life, or they psychologically they are healthily enough to sustain their future life. So we are building on this output indicator, but still not very good, so I'm not showing you now. So later on, next time if Christine asks me to share again, I promise outcome indicator will be there. So I use relief operation as the project level, okay, assessment, the need, planning, what to do, implementation, distribute things, and then evaluation, any improvement. So the service level, the department wants to be an efficient and professional responder for emergency operation. So the assessment is SWOT analysis, our competitive edge. The planning is what we have to do. Let's say we have to recruit more delegates or personnel in medical or water and sanitation, and then train them. And implementation is train them and then to send them, to deploy them to strategic position. And the evaluation to see whether our reputation is really has been built. So this is the service level. So after 2-3 years. Okay, now come to a very, very difficult one, is agency level. So it's still okay, it's too fast. Okay. Okay, at agency level, we need expertise, we need a consultant to help. Because sometimes we are inside person, maybe we have a lot of burden or historical burden that we cannot see something that clearly. So we invite McKinsey. So have you heard about McKinsey? It's yeah. McKinsey was at that. It's quite expensive. Okay, they gave us pro bono service. Hong Kong Red Cross is very cautious. Okay, it's very cautious in doing your donations. So that's why we talked to Joe Ai. At that time, Joe Ai is not yet the director. But now promoted, because maybe after helping the Red Cross or helping the NGO sector, become a director of McKinsey in Hong Kong. So McKinsey was established in 1927. It's quite a very famous consultancy company. So we asked McKinsey to help us to conduct the exercise for assessment. Do you know how many months that we have spent for the assessment? Guess. 8 months. 6 months. 6 months, okay. 6 months that McKinsey sent 2 junior consultants sit in our office every day to do a lot of assessment and then focus group questionnaire. So agency level, first step, what we have to do? Assessment, okay. So at that time, to be honest, we want to have a strategic direction for the Hong Kong Red Cross for service. But at that time, McKinsey introduced a tool to Hong Kong Red Cross called OHI, Organizational Health Index, to measure the organization's health. It's a doctor to measure a doctor whether you are having cancer or you're healthy. So at that time, after the results, Hong Kong Red Cross is some kind having first stage of cancer. Okay, the OHI will measure your health, and the health is the quality or enabling factors to help your organization to do good performance. So that's why McKinsey say that you have to measure your health first to see whether your performance can be further enhanced and then to kick off for another level of service development. So that's why they suggest to have some diagnosis on Hong Kong Red Cross health. Okay, so during the process, they start doing assessment. So They use interview, focus group, survey, and editorial review to approach stakeholders. Do you remember that I said that we have to identify stakeholders? So identify 4 major stakeholders: donors, service recipients, public, and also volunteers. And also another group is staff. Okay, read from the comments. It's not bad, because this is all outsider. They will see that Hong Kong Red Cross still can gain support from a larger base of donors with increased loyalty. At that time, not yet have got made. And then volunteer, many youth volunteers have been serving Hong Kong Red Cross. We have a large number of volunteers serving us, and many of them, they're young. I remember I come across a conversation with Australian Red Cross and New Zealand Red Cross. Their aging population, they have problems that they are volunteers getting old. And also they want to penetrate the market in the school to increase the young people. But Hong Kong Red Cross still okay, but now, to be honest, it's dropping. All uniform groups members now dropping in Hong Kong because of the 334 334 in education system. So that's why we have to think about how to have a breakthrough. So 90% of the past adult volunteers, they satisfy with us. And more opportunities should be provided to tap the adult volunteer talents group. This is a suggestion. So the service recipient, they satisfy in general. And then, but it's increasing demand for service and contribution locally and abroad. So nowadays, the donors or the media, the public, they are more demanding. They demand us to do more and then do better. And the public recognition, generally okay. We are one of the top NGOs. I remember Hong Kong Council of Social Service, Christina is former director of the Hong Kong Council of Social Service. They do NGO image survey every 5 years. So we always is almost the same in the top 5. So usually the top 4 is a local NGO, let's say Tonghua Groups or Poland Coke or Community Chess. So we are about the 5th, and then we are one of the top 1 among other INGO, international NGO. But the last one was done about 5-6 years ago. I don't know whether they will do another one. So I guess maybe we will not be the 5th or 6th or 7th, because some other INGO, they're doing very good job. Yeah. So this is the diagnosis for outsider. So we are good. But the diagnosis for in-house, our staff, that is not that good. Because it's so many slides, I just pick some important slides to show to you. So this is comparison. After doing the diagnosis, McKinsey at that time put the Red Cross score. They have 9 areas: direction, leadership, environmental, and values, and accountability, blah, blah, blah. And then the other lines is 600 companies. At that time, McKinsey haven't have much data on NGO sector. Hong Kong Red Cross may be the first NGO that they help us to do the OHI. So that's why we have no choice. We have to compare with the commercial. So the red line is Hong Kong Red Cross. You can see which area is most vulnerable. Innovation. So that's why we know that our health is like this. And then we have to do next step. Okay, assessment done. What next? Yes, so that's why we have to plan, right? What we have to do to make the lines a little bit on the right side, right? So that's why we have a lot of discussion, workshop, and then we also have one more assessment on the current situation. So currently, what best describes Hong Kong Red Cross? Hong Kong Red Cross is value-driven, full of mission. Every Red Cross person wants to do more to help people. We are stability focused. And that means stability focused versus we are not that risk-taking, right? We are very safe on everything. And then we have sense of community. We know the community. And then we have global involvement. We have 189 Red Cross all over the world. We are accountable. So we are visionary. So this is what we can describe best Hong Kong Red Cross. But the right circle is what needs to describe Hong Kong Red Cross. We are not that risk-taking. Work-life balance. We are not that work-life balance. Our staff work overtime and then feel very tired. Yesterday I worked until to 2:30 a.m. Not because of this, because we are moving office, and then and also I have a late evening meeting to establish a new center in the headquarters. I really want to introduce you to come later. We have a humanitarian education center, 人道教育中心. It is sponsored and supported by the International Red Cross. A lot of excitement there. So I will not tell you because you have to pay for it. You have to pay to come to experience 1.5 hour stimulation exercise. Very good. So I promise you. Okay. So after maybe you have to wait for another 6 months because we are doing it, and then we will open it hopefully in April. So you can go through Christine or email me bonnie.so@redcross.org.ha, and then I can arrange for you. So every group not more than 30 person is okay. Okay, good. So okay, I'll give you discount because I'll give face to Christine. Okay. So this is what we describe Hong Kong Red Cross now. Oh yeah, sure.
Provided you got all passes.
Okay, this is what we least describe Hong Kong Red Cross. And then the center, the circle in the middle, what should be? Is it the ideal? So if something we are doing good, the blue one, we have to keep it. But something we are doing not good, so we have to improve it. Let's say work-life balance. We have to encourage people to leave office earlier, and then can delay project a little bit. And then cross-departmental collaboration. To be honest, the 6 departments, they're doing very good job individually. They're very professional in disaster relief. They're very professional in first aid training. But we don't have much collaboration, to be honest. So that's why we have to encourage collaboration. So something that we have not thinking about it, let's say long-term orientation, continuous improvement, well-organized, and openness. We have to add on it. So this is, after doing the assessment, we know our health, quite dangerous, and then we know the area we have to keep, we know the area we have to improve, and know some blank area we have to add on. So this is a picture, the central circle that we want to have to work hard, to work towards. And okay, this is the planning. After doing all this exercise on assessment, we do planning. So we have planning to use one theme, quality focus. To be honest, this is out of everybody's expectation. After doing the exercise, everybody think that the strategic direction should be on service focus. Let's say do more international involvement or save more life. By that time, McKinsey warned us, if you don't have good quality or consolidation, and then maybe you'll break down in the coming 5 and 10 years. So that's why we take the advice to do internal capacity building and knowledge management and system building. So we have 6 things to do. The first one is cultivate the transformation program to bombard or to promote the Red Cross people. Now we are doing quality focus. So everything we are talking about quality is not quantity. So this is a cultivate the culture. And after cultivated the culture, we have some action. We have 5 things to do. We set up 5 working groups: knowledge management, talent management, staff wellness, service evaluation, and service development mechanism. So this is have 6 things to do, is under the plan. So this is the first step to cultivate the quality culture. So we have a lot of icon and poster, a slogan to bombard Red Cross people that we are doing quality focus service. So after 2-3 months, everybody, they understand that, okay, Red Cross is doing quality, doing dreams and whatever, and every day they step into our office, we have quality poster, and then we have lots of games about quality. This is structure. Okay, implementation should have a good structure. So you cannot add on using your own structure to deliver some new things. You have new plan, you have a new structure. So we have formed a steering committee, have some high-level people and also staff representatives to sit in to steer the whole 5-year plan's implementation. And then we have 6 groups in parallel with the 6 major tasks we have to do. And then we assign department heads, 1 department head to head 1 group with representatives from different departments to do all these 6 major tasks. So monitoring and evaluation. So I like an example talking about the finish line. So if you don't have a finish line, you don't know when the race will be done. So that's why when we plan the 6 major tasks, we have some set objective, some output indicators and outcome indicators. And then every year we have to review under the steering committee to monitor the 6 projects, how far it has been doing, and then is it far away from the finish line. So so output indicator and outcome indicator. As I mentioned, that output indicators that we are doing good because we have the table I show you, lots of numbers to measure. But outcome indicators we're still learning. For example, how to measure the change in knowledge, skill, and attitude when you deliver first aid training. Okay, they attend the first aid training, but maybe they're not confident to help, or they don't have practice and then they forget after 3 months. So that's why we have to create some method to, let's say for example, pre and pro tests. Before that they fill up a question. After that, whether the knowledge increased. Attitude or skill, maybe after 2-3 months we have random questionnaire sent to the first aider and then to see whether they have still remember something, or they use their skill to help Red Cross doing some first aid service. So we have to think about how to measure the outcome. So it's difficult, but I think it is a must. So this is some paper I showed to you. So every time when we start the program, we have the proposal to get fundings, and then to have some set objective. Remember the very complicated table I showed you. The core actions, activities, measurable indicators, and resources and time frame. So all these are in this proposal. And after that, we have progress report. Every year we have one. And then next year, we have final report. Because next year is the final year of our current 5-year plan. So this is some thing I show you about the knowledge management. This is an achievement, the product of the knowledge management. We create a red corner. It's intranet. Now every Red Cross person, they have to store the document there. They can find documents, useful documents of the other department there. It's a platform for people to share documents. But we want to make it more lively. Not only documents, maybe we create some expert groups. They can share some discussion on some specific topics. So we are developing this area. So this is some newsletter to keep people informed what we are doing on quality focus. So this is a questionnaire we just done earlier this year. After 4th year, we want to taste or to test, to feel the pulse, whether our current 5-year plan is doing good or not. So we ask some questions. This is very fundamental questions, whether they understand the objective of this 5 working group. So some questions to ask some basic questions. And then this is the individual attitude to change. Not very good high marks, so only 2 point something, nearly 3, just pass. So we have to do better. So this one is overall comment. Which one is the highest score? That is have a platform. It's a platform to store, also to consolidate, and also to encourage sharing. So this is the red corner. So from the exercise, we find that if we introduce some new project or new things to the colleagues, if that activities or that tool or that training is if it is very relevant to their day-to-day work, so should be very safe to success, because they have to depend or rely on that tool or training to make their work done or done better. So that's why this close to 7 score, that is the platform that compulsory everybody have to go inside to do their day-to-day work. And then they find then it's very easy to use. So that's why we got high score. But the lowest score is 5.67. It's not because it's not doing good, but because of the surface evaluation project we start in the 3rd year. So we start it late. So that's why the SMART is not that high. So we know that the reason. So when you go through this statistic, you don't just judge on the number. You have to know the reason behind. When I show this to my governance, and I will explain, it's not because the service evaluation mechanism is doing bad. I think that it's doing very good because it just starts. So that's why our staff, we just have 4 group of staff selected as a pilot project. So that means beside the 4 groups, the other staff, they haven't participated in the pilot project, they don't know about it. So that's why we know the reason that is okay. So we will look into the root problems and then to improve it. So don't just look at the figures to judge. So also we will have some open-ended questions. Sometimes maybe they give you low score, but have some reason behind. Not because you're not doing bad, but maybe the environment is not that healthy or enable them to enjoy it. For example, we have a lot of reflection. The workload is very heavy in Hong Kong Red Cross. So that's why no matter how many good activities or good training we provide to the staff, they are too occupied. They have a lot of work. They have to work until 1 a.m. So that's why they will have no time to enjoy the training and activities. So that's why the training and maybe the activity is good. But the root problem is we have to take away the workload from the staff to free them to enjoy it. So sometimes open-ended questions can let you know about more beside figures. So sometimes we also measure some ordinary data. Every year we will do staff survey. So we compare the 2010 and 2014. It's good that we find that it's increasing on the staff health. So for example, it's 2 small works. The first one is the management staff, they concern about the wellness of the staff. And also, the staff wellness activities can enhance staff wellness. And also, we provide a very good environment for the staff. So 2010, the score is low, and 2014 is going up. This is a question on the attitude. So we want to, they just take and fill the form by their feeling. So do you think we have work-life balance? Do you think, I mean, it's better, okay, it's better. Because we have one thing that is not doing very good is we don't have a pre-test. We don't have the pre-test on those 5 areas because we don't know we will have that 5 area that become our 5-year strategic plan. We don't have a pre-test on the staff wellness. We don't have the pre-test on the knowledge management. So that's why we don't have pre and post figures comparison. So and then I talked to my staff to do the evaluation, how to supplement this part and then to make it more have sense. So and then she suggests maybe use the questionnaire in a compare with before. Do you think that is better? Have a better work-life balance or better staff training opportunity? Sometimes we can see the better or not. So we don't have a pre-statistics, and then we have to twist the questions to ask to get a sense of the better or not. Okay, I share with you a lot of challenges and then areas to improve. But 3 major challenges is this time we use OHI, McKinsey to help us to do it. But OHI is their own companies too. So after doing 5 years, we cannot, I think they will not give another pro bono service. So I talked to Joe I, and I said how to evaluate the achievement. And then Joe I said, oh, it's not that difficult. You just do some interview and focus group and then questionnaire, they will okay. So I think that he didn't feel comfortable to offer another 6-month pro bono service to us. So that's why if you do some assessment, if the tool can repeatedly be used by you, and then you can really measure pre and post. But this time we are handicapped because we cannot use OHI again to measure our health. Okay, the second challenge is I mentioned that we do not define the expected outcome very clearly. So we have to learn. Okay, I have to admit it. And then the baseline, we don't have pre. That means the post statistic is difficult to measure. So this is okay. In next year, final evaluation, take Joe I advice. We will do staff survey, focus group, and maybe document review. So I will measure the OT hours because do you remember the root problems of Hong Kong records overload? So OT hours that I really have to look into. So that's it.
She deserves an A.
Pass.
We have 4 minutes to take questions. Any questions?
Sorry, just a quick question. I think you touched upon it earlier, but I was wondering, like, what was the buy-in like for the McKinsey assessment review? How involved were your internal stakeholders in the process of assessment? And that I think
What is the
how involved, like what was the buy-in like from your internal, like, for example, the report was produced, right? How much agreement, and you mentioned it a little bit, I just wanted to understand a little bit more about the context, like how did you get the people to understand what the report could do for organization? Did they agree with the quality focused strategy, and how did they that empower your staff to sort of build on that and implement? Yeah.
The adoption part.
Yeah, because that's strategy, right?
So take one more questions.
I think it's pretty similar with that.
Okay.
So just now I talk about like build up a quality culture, right? And then I just want to know what's the key factors of empower staff and help them to internalize the culture rather than just accept the things. Because like by doing that they can do things they really like, they feel they are empowered rather than they do things like what they are asked to do.
Okay.
Personally, I really appreciate my cause because I am also a volunteer for
Very
the
good.
and disaster relief and psychological first aid. Yeah. So I know the staff are very overloaded. So my question is, because of the whole exercise, really involves the staff, and I'm sure that you prefer to have this evaluation for comparison. How can you bring the organizational change in involving all the staff throughout the process? Maybe talk long-term, maybe.
Okay, first of all, McKinsey, they came in to do the assessment. To be honest, they just show us the problems. That show the problems. I mean, to show us that what the health situation of Hong Kong records was with the statistics. So statistics that you cannot deny because a lot of statistics from different stakeholders. And the 6 project that is divided by ourselves. It's not by McKinsey. To be honest, McKinsey showed us another structure. We need 6 million Hong Kong dollars to implement, and then we decide to drop it. So McKinsey always, McKinsey is good at the tool. And the tool is very professional. No one can challenge because very comprehensive. A lot of statistics. Actually, the full mean report with 100 slides. So a lot of statistics. So nobody can challenge it. So and then they show us, because the values of bringing in McKinsey is to do the assessment. Because the third party is a very fresh eye. They have professional and comprehensive tool. And then, but the implementation should be have ownership by ourselves. So that's why we decided to drop the 6 million Hong Kong dollars plan and then to have our own one. So we have a lot of workshop. You can ask Christine. We are a organization treasure a lot of consultation, different layers, meaning volunteers, committees, and also staff. So we do a lot of consultation. And then my former boss said that, Bonnie, you like communication, and then you keep doing communications. And then we have focus group. And for example, now every month I will send one email to all my staff. I call it a love letter from the Secretary General, 情書. And I would tell them something very top level, and I worry because they are our family members. It's no secret. So, but I cannot talk to them one by one every day. So that's why I will communicate with them in this way. And also I invite them, if you want to talk to me, I'm free for lunchtime. Every time you come here, I'll treat the lunch and then to talk to you. And now it's over, 10 or more than 10 groups of people. Some of them, they come in individually. Some of them, they come in 3 person, a small group. So I think they will treasure the opportunities that can talk to high-level people. You have to open your door. So this is one thing I want to answer your question is, you have to communicate with them. It's not a decision made up in the air, but you have to consult them. So I want to share one more example very quick. 3 years ago, I established a new department. I'm not very sure whether this is a 100% correct decision, but at that time we had this assessment and I want to create one department. And there are lots of ill feeling or uncomfortable feeling in those days because I have to take away some services from the current department to form the 6th department. And then those department heads or staff, they will feel threatening, whether you want to take away my money and service and people. And then I use 1 year to do consultation, a lot of consultation. I keep listening to them, and then their opinions that I think is workable, I will put it in my plan to change it. If not, I explain to them. I have a lot of staff consultation. Like this, every time I have 80 staff to come to talk about that. I share with them the reason and then the objectives. And then they said that 1 year is too rush. And then I listened to them. I prolonged the progress from 1 year to 80 months, 1.5 years. So they feel that, oh, you listen to me, and they have some adaptation on their opinion. So this is the way of doing, because nobody can gain everybody's appreciation. Nobody can win all your hearts. But you're sincere, and then you open your heart to listen, and the people will know that. And every time you make very important decision, you have to understand your result or reason behind. You just do something that with evidence base, and have some very strong reason. People will be convinced. Yeah. But sometimes have to have a brave to admit mistake. So no matter how high level you are, you will make mistake, and then you have to admit it. Yeah.
Yes, I'm one of the insiders in this exercise because I am one of the agencies who conduct this website survey.
Oh.
But, I think that the benchmarking is a bit to critically review the literature and also the benchmarking to incorporate those examples from the business sector. I think the portion I see that in literature review, the government and the NGO, the portion is very small. So some kind of innovation and external orientation is a kind of difference. I think we can review, but I think benchmarking should be looked into how we incorporate the benchmarking.
Yeah.
The other point is I want to ask you how to do the further exercise because the mandates from the top management to spend $6 million to do the foreign services is a huge amount of money. What is your experience to motivate or to review to get the top management endorsement to spend
the money?
Such a big amount of money.
Yeah.
And the other question is how you get alignment. Alignment, I think, alignment is very difficult to do. It's corporate functions and programs together and align the things and resources together.
The first question, okay, the benchmark. Yeah, you're correct. In those days, no NGO figures, but now I think they have a little bit more because after doing another round of OHI with 9 NGO, 8 NGO, now have about 9 NGO figures now in Hong Kong. So I think that McKinsey also building their base with commercial sectors with relevancy. So to be honest, in those days, the lines that we compare with commercial sector is one of the motivation for us to do more. But the absolute figures or data we collect from our stakeholders. So those figures and information really let us have an overall picture and impression on the current situation of Hong Kong Records. So it's not only the comparison between Hong Kong Records and other commercial sector that make us feel threatening, but all other figures make us have a more clear picture of Hong Kong Records, the situation. So benchmarking, that is, give you a sense to do something that's not only, okay. And then the 5 million Hong Kong dollars. Actually, they proposed 6 million Hong Kong dollars for us to do it. But eventually we spent a few million, but not more than 6 million. We did have extra money to implement this 5-year plan. We cannot spend nothing to have another new plan implemented. So this is an exercise the whole agency wants to do. Before introducing McKinsey, we want to have a 5-year strategic plan for the whole Hong Kong Red Cross. So this is a common goal. It's not only one person's wish to do it. It's everybody want to do it. And then finally, we have a plan. We know our health situation, and then we propose some solutions to our governance. If you want to improve our health, we have to do this, and this. And then we have a lot of discussion, and then to see what we have to do. We cut down the big budget that means provided by the McKinsey, but we still have another not that big budget, but not small, not that big budget, also millions, some millions, and then to implement it. So I really appreciate the governance of the Hong Kong Red Cross. They do understand that we have to spend to improve. It's not add on the workload to make us more busier and then to improve. So that's why I really, really appreciate our governance to support us. Yeah. And then
strategy. Show them the 6 million and you get the 3 million for yourself.
Yeah. So anything else? Alignment. Oh, okay. Alignment among all departments. Oh, okay. So this time the strategic alignment is a little bit easier because this is something that in general every department can do, and then will not touch their kingdom, because this is their kingdom. Okay. So it's talking about staff wellness, to treat staff better, give them more training opportunities, give them we give them one more annual leave for them, a caring leave. And then we have some entertainment activities. So also quality management, also knowledge management. They have to use the red corner. So this 5 theme we have to incorporate in every department's annual plan. So that's why when they plan the activities, they will think about which 1 or 2 out of the 5 plans they are related to. I remember that one slide that can show you. Annual plan. Okay, so alignment to agency strategic direction. So the annual plan, they have a lot of activities, and then they think about, this aligned to the talent management and whatever. So they have to think about whether these activities, this task related to 1 out of the 5 strategic direction. So we encourage them to do it. I think that is easier because they will not need to sacrifice their kingdom, or they will not have to do less on their core business. But the second 5-year plan, that will be starting from April of 2007. So that will be a service-oriented strategic direction. So I hope that 2 or 3 years later, I will come in to share with you. We have another strategic direction with service focus, and then how are the service department to align on this service-focused strategic direction. It is a very difficult and then tough task to do, but I think that we will overcome it.
So the alignment is the commitment, the software part of it, the structure part of it. There's a form you have to fill this column, but also there's incentive. The projects that's aligned with the agency, the headquarters have resources to support individual departments, initiatives. Leadership, yes.
Thank you.
Let's go to the ceremony. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, I have actually uploaded the first one, the revised one. I will do it later.
I can save it in this.
It can save 落去幫我.
The less the same.
Okay, break. 本來5 to 10 minutes 啦。好，你哋可以嚟問佢。Okay, we have to start. Interesting session, huh? You would like to know more about the McKinsey model. You have it, but the university is not rich enough to pay for him to come here. I have McKinsey's Joe I on video. It's in the online learning session. I've uploaded already. So, and after this week, when you go home, you can read it. And it gives another perspective to performance in terms of organization health, how to measure it. He came to speak, which I invited him on a forum. I have all of you in my mind when I invited him. But for a person, he needs to speak to practitioners rather than students. So I have it videotaped. And he will talk about not the Red Cross, because after the Red Cross experience, I twisted his arm to do a pro bono service for 8 other NGOs. And so he will introduce the findings of these 8 NGOs and the benchmark. But as Raymond has mentioned, benchmarks are benchmarks. What really moved the Red Cross to do is the statistics behind. The statistics are something that are facts that you cannot hide. You can say, I don't want to compare with this person, or I don't want to compare with other people, but something you have to see the mirror and you see yourself. So it's a framework. And there's some readings. I think I haven't put the readings into the, maybe I'll give it to Kin, because I've got the book Beyond Performance, which is a book written by the scientists, the McKinsey scientists who developed this tool. They are selling this as the service, because reading the book won't tell you how to do it. So that's why the consultants earn their money. But the concept of it, there's one chapter you can read. So far for McKinsey. Let's go into the overview of the performance. One other point which I'd like to make is that the 2 field practitioners I've introduced, I want to say something is that, they are from these traditional NGOs. Everybody has this impression of these Gai Fong Association, the Red Cross, a big bureaucracy. But you see these organizations, and not just social enterprises, which are the in stuff. These organizations are progressing with time. It's hard to move a big elephant, but these are the efforts. So this is something, because they have the resources, and they are complicated organizations. So it's more to learn from them, how they institute the whole process. So I will use their experience to talk more, and you can ask questions. Now this 45 minutes, I hope to do an overview of the tools. As said, tools can be bought. You can read more, but what I will do is to talk about the key concepts of the tools and its applications. If you have money, you can hire people to help you use the tool. If you can study more, download it, but it's the usage and the concepts I want to talk about. And I've chosen 4 very basic tools. There are lots to it, but I think it's more easily applicable for nonprofit organizations, and easier for you to comprehend through these tools what is the purpose of performance measurement. Because as said, what is important to know and to learn is not the tool. It's for what and for whom. How to use it, I mean, if you are CEOs, you hire people to do it. We've talked about the two field practitioners talk about balanced scorecard. I will do some teasing out, but I will talk a little bit more about logic model and key performance indicators. Logic model first. I mean, this you've seen it before. This is a typical performance management framework. What is performance management? These are the key issues. At the first lecture, I showed this. You look at the process. You look at the needs. You start with the needs, like the Red Cross, the needs assessment, different tools to do needs assessment. You define the objectives, be it at the project level, service level, organization level. Then it's a process. Then the outcome. And then there are different performance measurement issues. The logic model is very much a reprint of this whole concept. The logic model, why it's mostly used as a performance measurement tool, it's an easy communicable language for evaluation. It helps to categorize the work. What are the inputs? What are the throughput activities and the output? It categorizes the activities, this model. And it outlines the cause-effect linkages. It distinguishes what are the program and what are the environmental factors. And through this modeling, you can then see or identify the efficiency issue. I will translate it later, which is output versus input. And program quality, which is output as against external standards, benchmarking, or compliance standards. Program effectiveness, which is output and outcome, output and input versus intended objectives. Whether it's effective or not. It's whether you've put enough resources to yield the objective or the outcome of the activities or output of the activities are fulfilling the objectives. And the last concept about linking constructs of observable data. I will use this to explain. You can go back onto the PowerPoint, which I've already loaded, to after I've talked everything about it, these are the essential characteristics of this model. Then you will understand more. Now, to explain the model, it's simple, a framework for program logistics. For input, what you talk about is what you put in. What you put in is money, people, equipment, technology, information, facilities. Components are the program activities. What are the service components? I will give you illustrations. And you have to set out with the objectives. What are the objectives in a logic model? It's to provide what, to give what. Implementation objectives is to, like the Red Cross, the objective is to be a professional responder on emergency operations. So how, what, in what manner? This is the description of implementation objectives. Output is simple, the activities, the work done, you list it out, or you planned it out. Relief distribution, needs assessment, what are the activities that you need to do. The little complications come with the linking constructs. Look at the outcomes first. Outcomes, what is it? short term, medium term, long term. Usually, when we talk about short term outcomes, we talk about learnings, awareness, knowledge, skills, motivations. Medium term, how knowledge and awareness are translated into behavior, actions, practices, policies. And the long term are what we call the consequences of the action, like well-being, poverty alleviation. So these are the social consequences of the action. So how do you differentiate short, medium, long term? And the linking constructs, it's how do you connect outputs with the outcome? It helps you because the outcomes are usually the secondary data, like wellness or well-being. But you've organized an activity of empowerment or training, or so how does it link to well-being? Maybe employment rate, so you earn more, increase in household income, then you have well-being. So linking your activities like employment training program, you've done 3 courses, they've attended it, participation rate, they've all completed, but did you increase their well-being? Did you empower them? So the intermediary linking construct, maybe they get a full-time job. How many of your participants eventually get a full-time job in order to get better well-being? So the linking construct helps you to link your secondary data, which you get outside, with the outputs of your activities. So this is what the logic model helps you to connect the cause, try to connect, may not be able to explain why, the causal linkage. So let's try to do, I'll do one more explanation first. As said, outputs are activities, participation, engagement, what I talked about, outcomes, short terms, medium terms, and long term. Outputs can be the number of people, what have you done, the participation of your stakeholders, how they are engaged in terms of how they commit to, or how long, how in-depth the activities that you measure the output, but the outcome is you see how much they have really learned, acquired, how much the new knowledge have changed their behavior or changed the policy. You can organize an advocacy event. You have press coming in. But did you change the policy? But the long term is, did the policy increase the well-being of people who are disadvantaged? So this is an explanation. Now we try an exercise. Share this. 2 by 2 mean two to work on one sheet. Share one piece among 2 to 3 and work out. This is one we're giving out is this. Try it out. Listen after this. Listen first. This is the program level. I will explain the logic model also from the program level, service level, and agency level. The program level first, how to really involve you. If we're talking about an income supplement program. Now, listen first. If the need is they're single parents not earning enough and not willing to work. So there's a program called Income Self-Sufficiency Program, which gives income supplement. The component is the program. And the objectives of the program is to provide an income supplement to these single parents who find full-time job. You only get the supplement only you have full-time job, but you're not earning enough. So I give you an extra incentive. If you get a full-time job, I give you an income supplement within the 12 months. Random assignment, that doesn't make that. So this is the implementation objectives. So what are the outputs that you count from this? What are the outputs from these programs that you will count? And you can think of, don't think of the linking concept first. Then think of the outcome. What do you want to achieve from this program? The outcome. And then work out the linking construct. 5 minutes. Discuss. Work in groups of 2 or 3. No problem. I will ask. Huh? No need for a case. No need for a case. This is it. Just think. Just this. The back part of it is another exercise. Just brainstorm. What can be the outputs? All of you have done programs. If you're running this program, what will you count as output? What will you count as outcome? Then try to make the linking construct. Try. Think about it first. Okay, hands up. 2 minutes 啊，我冇時間啊。It's a joint exercise. It's a joint exercise. Okay, try out. Output. Tell me one output.
The number of single parents who find the job.
Number of single parents who found the job. Number of single parents who joined the program. Join the program. One more. 你屋企度嗰個啊 Output.
The how much total volume or the amount used for the program because you have the
Yes. The number of income supplement that you gave out. Any more? Yes, Ivy. What? They don't agree. What is that? What? Independence? That's outcome. That's outcome. That's outcome. Is it? Outcome? Output?
The number of the independents should be the output, but through our surveys, how well they reach the independence should be the outcome.
Yeah. So that's so you split up your indicator into the number of participants that has got
Financial independence, that is our
enough to live. That means they've got the full-time pay as well as the supplement. the number of them that get adequate livelihood with this supplement program, and then the outcome is the well-being. Yes, good. So what's the linking construct? So well-being is the outcome. What's the linking concept? Also from there, it's the number of people who get full-time employment. That's the linking construct, because your program does not help them get full-time employment. Your program only gives them money for supplement. The well-being is the outcome. So the linking construct is the number of people, because of your incentive, got full-time employment. See? The answer is here. You got almost everything. Number of persons receiving the income supplement here. Number of income supplement paid, that's your money paid, and average number of months of income per recipient, that you give them adequate living. This side, the outcome side, is reduced poverty, increased earnings, well-being, like you said, increased family income, stable employment, because it's an incentive for them to find full employment. But the linking construct here, it's the increased full-time employment number. So it's all these outcomes may be other factors, environmental factors, these outside. If you look at a district, I mean, the income level, the secondary data of the median income may be higher. But how does it link to your program? Then you look at the number of full-time employment of your participant in that district. So this is how do you attribute this to your performance as a linking construct. So increased cash transfer payments, that means they have more money to live with. And this goes with increased family income. Because the money you give them, the outcome is they have enough to live with. They have increased family income. So the middle part of it is the money, how much money you gave out. And the output activities is the total money you give out. Here, here, and here. Here, here, here. So this is the logic. So you attribute it as a performance measure. Sink in. Questions? Look at the...
I understand the logic from left-hand side to right-hand side, but when we design our program, can we use it as a way from logic backward? So we want to conceive the outcome and we work with it.
This is what Bonnie mentioned about result-based planning. So all your program, you have a very big objectives. Think big. But you have to put it back into practicable steps to achieve it. I mean, all income supplements is to reduce poverty. But how do you make this step to here? So this is one thing, you encourage them to find full-time employment. That's you set your objective. But given their skills, given their abilities, what they can earn will not be enough for them to take care of the family. So you start a program to give income supplement, not just giving them money. So they have to get a full-time job in order to get your money. So this will be the activities that you count. You design your activities. Then what you measure as an outcome, output, can be linked to the big objectives that you have. And this is how you start thinking of the construct. So this is the logic model, as said, from the left side to, but you have a vision of the right side. then work it back to think of how you design your activities and incentives to encourage this. So this is the logic, very logical step and the vision. This is the program level. Give you a vision of the service level. Service level, you have a look. It's put the other way around. The inputs are the money, the human, the manpower you put in, the equipment, facilities, technology. As a service, there are different components to these activities. There's the screening for, let's see, this is an alcohol and drug service program, a service. Alcohol and drug, so you have screening, you have, sorry, because they told me that you will bring the, you can download it from the previous version. Oh, okay. Is it better? Okay, sorry for it. So this is the different programs under our service to achieve alcohol and drug withdrawal. This is the withdrawal management, outpatient, day treatment, residential, and support services. These are the different services, these different programs under the service. Implementation objectives for each of the program. It's here, like we'll have a look at outpatient. To provide outpatient means they come in and they live outside, not residential. They come in for outpatient treatment. You provide counseling at the treatment center, therapeutic groups, and you have lectures, and these are the activities or programs. What can be the output activities of all these? And what can be the outcome? What are the outcome objectives? To increase, to decrease, to maximize, to prevent. Outputs are the countable indicators of service delivery and characteristics of those served. That means the indicators of your services delivered and also the results or the behavioral characteristics of those who have undergone your program. No need for you to do. I'll give you the answer. Just like cooking class, before and after. This is it. So output, it's roughly the same. Clients admitted to the program, the visits, the average length of stay, they come into the outpatient center. For the day treatment center, the groups, the programs they have. For the residential, the number of bed days they come in. These are the countable service delivery and their characteristics of how they want the bed days and the length of stay. The outcomes is long-term increased health. Number of clients who participate in formal treatment. Social and family functioning. Client satisfaction. Physical health improvement. Vocational training. This is day treatment. These are the outcomes. They have put in also the linking. Some of these outcomes are linking constructs. For better family functioning is an outcome. Reduction in substance abuse may be the linking construct. So after their participation in the program, they come here more often. The linking construct of output is the reduction of substance abuse situation, and then the outcome, it's family functioning. So this is a logic model a logic model from the service level as illustrations. Okay, we'll go to the more complicated one. The agency. Sorry. You should. Some I've blocked out, but it's basically, if you look at the x-axis and y-axis, this is how you draw it. It's a department, a Ministry of Human Resources. You can, and it's an organization level. This side, it's the inputs. Input, that means the money you give in, the number of full-time equivalents, that means the civil service, the number of people employed under the department. And they also put down strategic partnerships as an input, because the services of this ministry is not just delivered by this ministry. It's also delivered by the Human Resources Development Council, and it's also delivered by the Ministry's Council on Employment for Persons with Disability. So this, and the second part is partnership with non-profit sector. It's also the inputs of this departments, how they work with NGOs to deliver the results. So as the y-axis or the x-axis is the implementation part to it, how you use this. The components are the programs. So with the ministry itself, the employment programs that they run, they provide, the objective is to provide the individualized employment plans and services for able-bodied and with persons with disabilities. They help them to do employment plans. The outputs are the number of clients referred to job placement programs. The planning referred them to job placement programs, a number of referred to the job pilot programs, a number receiving employment support in specialized job. They plan, as a triage, they identify different service needs, and then they put them into different partners' program. So look at the long-term output, long-term sustainable employment for individuals. Short-term, it's improved job skills, overcoming barriers to employment, increased self-reliance. These are behaviors, awareness, learning, short-term outcomes. The linking construct, to show that these outcomes are materialized or realized, they have to find jobs, number of job placement clients who are off income assistance after 6 months. So these are countables to achieve, to see if the short-term outcome of better job readiness, better job employment competencies are realized. So this is the organization, but they don't just run employment programs. Like, they also work with this ministry that helps people with disabilities, because their mandate is not just to help able-bodied. They also have to help persons with disabilities. And for that purpose, they work with this other ministries and give continuous assistance to this special group of their client or their constituencies who are persons with disabilities. And they are specialized people that will implement or assist these PWDs, people with disabilities, to help gain financial independence through employment. So some of them, the outcome is self-reliance of these PWDs, people with independence. The aim may be different, or the short-term outcome may be a bit different from able bodies. So We just want to know their involvement in the community. What they called active, active participation. And volunteering and also employment. These are the linking constructs. The number of people that have joined their program, number of multiple barrier clients assisted to find volunteer opportunities. These are the outputs. Some of them that are eligible for or capable of open employment, they refer them to these community assistance program. Those who are not capable of open employment, volunteer opportunities. So these are the program outputs and the linking constructs to effect these outcomes. One furthermore on partnership with nonprofit is look at the last one. These are all just supplement assistance, rather the same as what government does. But what this ministry also does is to have an appeal system, which they don't do themselves because you can't appeal against yourself. So they get an NGO to set up a whole appeal tribunal. So this tribunal is part of the whole objectives of effecting employment assistance for people. So the objectives is to provide individuals with streamlined, fair, responsive appeal system and provide streamlined service delivery. So it's also getting feedbacks to streamline service delivery. So as Scarlett mentioned, we look at outcome first. What do you want to effect in the end? Clients and citizens feel confident that the ministry operates fairly and openly. So very often we get money from government. We want to know what they need from us. It's not just to help them spend the money. They want to see the service delivered. They want to see the legitimacy, their legitimacy being supported. So it is very clever they have this appeal or tribunal system. But how do you do it? The output's easy. Number of clients served or assessing or ready or willing to go through the appeal system. Many may not want to. They just go march on the street or complain. But going through an appeal process means something. They buy into your legitimacy. So one of the roles of these NGOs is to get these complaints and convince them there's a fair way for you to address your grievances. Percentage of program or contracts that are performance-based to help these programs to see their results. So reduced appeal times. So to achieve this, so you see first more people use this, but in the end, less appeal times, cases. So this is a framework. As I said, I can only introduce you to the key concepts and how does this performance tool works. A logic model of identifying what I said before, the characteristics of this. It's good for the whole organization to understand. It's easy because it categorizes work. It goes with logic, what I've put in, what I want to get out, what is the effect I want to get out of it, what are the linking concepts to be accountable for to the funders, and logic. Simple? Okay. Have 30 more minutes. Sorry for rushing. I won't go into the balanced scorecard or the strategic planning. You've heard it enough. I mean, just check on. This is just an easy, what AKA has mentioned. I have tried. Mr. Low mentioned 11 steps, but I've tried to simplify it. It's identify stakeholders' needs, define values, define the strategy, strategic goals. He mentioned the SWOT, the McKinsey 7S, the pastel. But these are tools for you to deliver 3, the strategy and goals. And then he worked out the strategic goals under the 4 perspectives. The strategy mapping, what he talked about, if then, causal linking, this is the strategy mapping. And then identify the KPI, set targets, and then the performance blueprint. This is what I've given Kin. This is the performance blueprint at the end. I have copied from their book one of the community service blueprint, how they put their objective. And I won't go through this. This is how they go, the adoption process. This is an example of balanced scorecard other than AKA. You identify the needs assessment. They use critical factors like the organization goals, the strategy, the working environment. You work out the strategic objectives and then the measures. Go back to the AKA strategic map. This is it. I tried to, the 4 perspective. This is the strategic objectives identified. Accumulate customer, they used social capital, tripartite partnership. This is the English version, the Chinese version. Won't go. Strategic planning, Bonnie has said enough, I won't go through it. But just one point on strategic planning, it's the concept of stakeholders' interest. There's one of the required readings, it's I talked about strategic factors in strategic planning. This is what Bonnie mentioned in the stakeholders analysis. It's identify the strategic factors for key stakeholders. To make it simple, what does it mean? An organization, the key stakeholders, as said, maybe the government, supporters, and the beneficiaries. It's not here because it's a business. What we want from them are the objectives. What they want from us are the strategic factors. If the government is the key stakeholders, as a client, we want them to give us money and contracts. The objectives is it's get the money, the government grants. What they want from us is, what if you get government grants, what government wants from you? Yes, service delivered. And also, as said, the legitimation and support through the service that the public gives to them. Because the service is funded by the government. If government as a governance, what we want from them, if the government is a stakeholder as governance, what we want from them may be policy change. It's not just money. And here they left out service uses. What they want from us, what we want from them, it's the objective is maybe behavior change, drug addiction, less substance abuse. What they want from us is the strategic factor. They may want support, a befriender. So you need to know, and this is a strategic planning. Other than the mission, objective, strategy, you have to look at not just do the analysis at the top, but throughout the process. A quick rush to key performance indicator. You read the article, then you come back. These are the characteristics. Actually, I've tried to get the organization who does very good KPIs. It's the Hong Kong Federation of Youth Groups. They have grown tremendously throughout. And Dr. Rosanna Wong, if some of you know, he's a really strong leader, is transformational leader. And he kept a dashboard for every unit. Those who are in yellow lights have to give explanation. Those who are get red lights, you know what. So, but it's in the online learning. But she didn't really talk about her KPI. Maybe it's business secrets. She talked about how she drove performance in her organization. You look at the online learning. But KPI, this David Parmeter, he wrote a lot of books on KPI, but recently, 2010, he wrote especially a book for nonprofits and governments. The chapter I've marked for you, and I've already put in the Moodle, it's a 12-step process. But the concept about performance, the performance KPI, it's to you use KPI is to align daily activities to strategic objectives, so that your staff members spend their working hours focused on the critical success factors. So there are two things I want you to remember about this model. The first thing is about what is critical success factor. The second thing is differentiate what's key performance indicator. He tries to make it complicated. There are key performance indicators, but there are also key result indicators. And where you draw from them, there are performance indicators and result indicators. I will show you. This is basically the framework. You also start with mission, vision. You have strategies, as said, the 4 elements that you have to be in place to start performance measurement. He mirrored the balanced scorecard in terms of the perspective. Finance, customer, innovation, learning, processes. He added 2 more. Staff satisfaction and community and environment, what they expect from you. You identify critical success factor from these 6 key perspectives. Critical success factor for an organization between 5 to 8. That's a magic figure they propose. Then you come up with the key result indicators, maximum 10, where you've drawn from, you identify from each unit bottom up. What are the performance indicators? What are the result indicators? And you streamline out the key ones. These key performance indicators have to contribute to these 6 perspectives. This is roughly the framework. He will tell you the process in the book, how you go through the process of engaging the different levels in your organization to work this out. The way he presents it is like a car salesman, but it's logical. He put down all these things, no need to remember. But I want to highlight, as said, critical success factors. These have to be related and identify to fulfill the mission and vision of your organization. How you define it, use the SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. And rule of thumb. There are a few things. I give you examples of it. As a restaurant, what is it? Customer satisfaction, the key. They won't come back again. Second, market share. If you're offering Thai cuisine in your district, what is the market share? What is your market share for the whole territory, for the big restaurants? Employee turnover, because that affects service quality, because it's a service industry. Your chief cook leaving you will leave you in disaster. Food quality. So these may be the key critical to your success. These related to the balanced scorecard perspective. You draw from them. But critical success factor, it's subjective. It has to be a deliberative process to come up with it. For NGOs, they mentioned number of donors. Easy, financial side. People served. Customers. Volunteers. The internal processes. Client satisfaction. Whether you really are helping them. So this is roughly the critical success factor you have to identify before you work out the key performance indicator. I got this AKA example also. How do you differentiate? This is also from Palmetto. It's also in the book. The key result indicators tell you, look at the middle part first. You sift out the key out of the result and indicators. But what does key result indicators as different from performance indicators tell you? How you have done in a perspective or critical success factor. These are outcome measures, quantifiable. These are outcomes measured in periods, but cannot tell you the action. Examples: net profit, revenue, profitability of key customer group. This is from the business side. These are the key results. Number of members. The result areas: the sales made each week, net profit of key product line, which you sift out the key result factors, the performance indicators. This is what tells you what to do. Number of key customer visits. You want to get them to come because one of the key restaurant is your market share, your client's number of people coming in, number of complaints that they won't come back again. The key performance indicator. For DHL, maybe the list of late projects or the late delivery. That will really affect your performance dramatically or increase dramatically. These are non-financial, indicate action and measured frequently. Examples. These are KPIs. Total revenue, reduction in operation cost, measurable, non-measurable response time, the targets. These are from what I draw out from them. Customer satisfaction. I have some more. He mentioned lead and lag indicators on Thursday. I want to explain a bit more when you choose indicators. What are lead indicators? Teachers predict, you can predict the performance. Lag indicators are results. So when you find indicators, you have to a combination of both. Lag indicators, outcome measures. Lead indicators are performance drivers. These are, you measure the input. The more money, the more manpower you put into a service, the result will be better, of course. But this is the outcome, the output oriented. These are identify the activities, they identify the results. Difficult to measure. An example of it is if your objective is to lose weight. I put it wrong. The leg indicator, it should be, you step on the scale. Your result is whether you have gained or lose weight. But the lead indicator of whether you've gained or lose weight is your calories intake. That's lead indicator. These are the indicators that will predict your result of the weight loss or the weight gain. So lead and lag indicators is an example. This is wrong. I switched it over. So both of these examples I put the other way around. I will amend it to put it back up. The lag indicators is your year-end revenue profit numbers. The lead indicators is the percentage of return customers or percentage of late delivery. That will affect your profit and your future business profile. Sorry for the rush. We will, what is it? These are the tools. As said, we cannot talk about all the tools in detail for this program. I've given you the text, the key concept you have to look into to study the tools, and then try to use the tool to apply it to a setting which you're familiar with. Then you see what you don't know and what you need to know more. We can come back to discuss about it because knowledge, it's there. It's the application of knowledge that makes what you learn. So what I've put down, and I'll put it into the Moodle in this PowerPoint, are the concepts that you need to capture and the application of it. Go back, read the readings, and think it through. And I want to, before the close, maybe I'll skip this part on case because I need to. I have another. Can you close this? I have another part to this lecture, which I think I don't want to rush. It's a critique of performance measurement. I mean, everybody says you need to do performance measurement, but there are limitations or cautions when you do it. Originally, I want you to do a role play. The original one, this one. Yes. Limitations and arguments against performance measurement. I have put into the required readings because if you're going to do performance measurements, you have to know what are the pitfalls and limitations of it. So one of the required readings highlight the pitfalls of it. And I'm supposed to do 2 case studies for you. Maybe you can do it yourself. I'll tell you the 2 cases first. The first case, which I intend to do it here, it's a Professor Francine Fisher. She has a very good idea. She wants to apply for a project proposal. And she needs a funding, but the foundation which she's applying to is requiring, like all foundations now, they want to see results, they want to see impacts, they want to see measurable outcomes. But can academic proposals fit into a straight-side jacket of foundation's proposal request? The problems it has come out, I mean, the role play was supposed, how do you negotiate this? We will skip it. But the other case, which I want you to do at home, it's a program in the United States not called the No Child Left Behind program. You see, the States is a very segregated country. I mean, the Gini coefficient and the disparity of wealth, it's very large. And the government, one of the issue is to reduce poverty, is to work on education. Very normal. But the problem is not just putting in schools. The problem is the schools not delivering the results. So they've started this, it's by legislation. This program, No Child Left Behind, is to require all schools to have a standardized test, to test the academic capability of the students, to ensure the schools are delivering their duty of educating these students. Because you see movies like Gear, or you see what they do in these high schools, all these funny things, they're not learning. So this is what the government put in, a standardized test. You're given two cases, one is from a teacher, one from a parent, how they experience this standardized test. I want you to answer. This is the class exercise sheet, each one take, and I've uploaded it. Edward, you have one for the first class. I'll give it to you later. This is the second class. Give me one first. I want you to read through the case. This is to look at the arguments against performance measurement. Is what do you see the problem of this assessment tool, a standardized test? What are the issues that the teacher and the parents are facing? I mean, it's a good intention of the government requiring this performance in a target, the school being responsible. But what are the issues? What are the problems that have come for some? Are there other alternatives? So think about that. It's no, as Bonnie says, no right and wrong answers. But it gives you the sense of what just looking for, driving for targets and measures will somehow displace your goal. So, what I've given you, you look at these two cases. Just answer these. These are not tests. The maximum you get is A, B, C, D, and 5 points. It's help you reflect. The first, I don't want a thesis. You can write a PhD thesis answering question 1. But go through, look through the readings and just put it into your context. What do you think is most suit you? Maybe, and give 2 reasons. Because it's simple. Because I don't have the money, or I won't do it. Just a simple reflection. You have time to do the tutorial and the integrated paper on the implementation. It's just a scanning. I want you to read through, if not read through the whole of the readings, at least the required readings and the PowerPoint again, and give an impression. You've told me your experience before in the first class. If you, with these new tools, you heard about, not just you learn about. Try to think which you can explore more as a starting point. As a starting point. So just answer this, and as the starting point, it will help you to think of the topic for the tutorial and the integrated paper. So this is what I couldn't do in class, and I want you to do at home. And little bit talk about the. I've also released the online learning, which is also you can do within these 3 weeks before we meet again in October. It's originally I want to have somebody to come to talk about KPI, but I only have 2 lessons. So I found the NGO which really does use this, but she didn't talk about it. But what she has talked about is also insightful. The other person is really from McKinsey, Jo Ngai, and she will talk about the results of the 8 NGOs, the benchmark you saw, and the 9 frames or the questions. You want to know more, go to the book. And I don't think I have put in the book. Maybe I have. I don't. Is anybody check the Moodle? It's beyond performance. Did they scan it up to the Moodle? If not, I will give it to Kin. So because I won't see you until next month. So it's stimulating, although it's not as good as seeing that in person, but it's second best. I don't have 6 million. And there's a worksheet to that. The worksheet is to ensure you really looked at it. It's nothing much. So you can bring it in October if you're not digital enough to hand it in through the Moodle. I'm not. So 2 things you give it back to me, the class exercise sheet, and also the online worksheet next time, because I will keep it for the marks. If you can send it in to me through, I mean, originally I said the 18th as the deadline, but no problem. As long as you give it to me. For the next, yeah. Yeah, you can come back in October to give it to me. But if you don't give it to me, it's your loss, not mine. Yeah. I will upload all the presented ones today.
So
yeah.
At the end of the day, we know everything is the most current.
Yes,
and,
yes.
And Red Cross?
Yes, also.
So we won't look at it until the end of the day.
Yes, yes. I will do it right away. Because I mean, presuming that somebody is diligent enough to read it before, so I block some of the questions that I want to ask. So the Moodle version is different from the presentation version. I will upload the presentation PowerPoint onto the Moodle today. So what's on for AKA and Red Cross and mine will be most updated from 3 o'clock. And and I have one extra one for Edward. For the first class exercise sheet, Edward, it's actually they're doing the video taping of each class, but you can do this even without looking at the video. It's you just fill it in and give it to me in October.
Sure. October? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Dismiss? Yes. No, tutorial session. One thing about tutorial. Tutorial session is only in November and December, but you have to decide on your tutorial grouping and topic by October. So you try to form groups and choose a topic and give it to me, because those who are going to present on the organization level will present in November. The program level will be presented in December. And a reminder, the topic you use for tutorial cannot be the topic you use for the paper. to ensure you you understand? Because the course is organized performance measurement at 2 levels, the organization level and the program level. I've talked about the organization level performance this week. Next week, Professor Terry Lam will come to talk about program evaluation tools. So the tutorial and the integrated paper, the question is the same, but the presentation are different. You choose one topic, an issue, or a tool. Anything you can talk about lead and lag indicators. You can talk about logic model or balanced scorecard. But the issue is you have to present your understanding of the subject as well as the application wisdom or the knowledge in your either your tutorial where you work in groups or in the paper. So if you've chosen a topic for your tutorial, you cannot use that topic for your paper. The paper, so you have 2 areas that you can focus in when you do your readings now. So you know. So I want to tell you in advance so you know, because I know you're very packed and everything has to be handed in by the 8th of December. 8th of December. So after your presentation for the tutorial, it's finished. You give me your PowerPoint and you do your presentation, it's okay. But the paper has to be in by the 8th. So you plan it in advance. Logic model. Look at the outcome and then track back. Okay. Sorry for delaying your lunch for 5 minutes. And I'm in room 804. And you can email me through the Moodle or if you have questions. And because you'll be off and we can communicate throughout. I mean, I'm learning how to Moodle, but still. I have 2 teachers. Yes?
I want to clarify the homework that we are going to bring up next October. To put this one, these sheets and...
The online worksheet.
But this one seems to be the same with
Yes, because I've just put in 2. I'm not sure, last night I put it as an assignment, it will work. And you know how to put on the digital answer. It works, okay. If you don't want to put a digital answer, you just give me a hard copy. It's fine both ways. It's one. The 2 cases are, actually the 2 cases are 1 case. The case 2 and case 3, you look at this as teacher Hawthorne and parent Elaine Waters. So it's just 1 case, actually. Forget about the Professor Fisher. Forget about Professor Fisher. Nothing. The No Child Left Behind, it's, you hear from the stakeholders. What does the performance measurement mean to them? And then you reflect.
Next Friday is the
next month. When you come back, that's the deadline. That's the cutoff date. The due date is the 18th. I learned that from the Moodle. Due date 18th, cutoff date the 8th. So, if you get, fun, 1 class exercise sheet, but also the online worksheet. Online worksheet after you've read. Presentation groups, you tell me when you want to form groups and the topic. Next slide, October lah. Yeah. You can talk about it now, or you tell me the earlier the better. Because I only allowed 7 for each session. First come, first serve. 7 topics on organization levels. Huh?
Is it on Moodle already?
It's no. The instructions already on Moodle. Instructions already on Moodle. But no restrictions. Let's see, Donna. Because as long as you do it, because it's a learning process. So, but I have 2 dates. Allocation of the dates are restricted because the time is not enough. Yes, you choose your topic. You find a partner or 2 partners and you work it together. Because as said, mutual learning is important. And you do your paper on your own already. So the tutorial is for you to work together. And I think it's good because like the first class, what you draw out as what is performance measurement, I think it's super. Okay? Okay, thank you. Who's not digital enough? I have printed some hard copy.